Maurice Lev from Serpact, Global and European Search Awards winner, and I'll have the honor to be the moderator of the second edition of e-commerce, the cross-border conference. On behalf of the organizers of the webinar, I would like to thank our sponsors, Cloudcart, Serpact, Golden Vision, and the Bulgarian e-commerce Association as an institutional partner. Today's topic is how to sell successfully online in Bulgaria, and we'll talk about with great professionals from Bulgaria. The first talker is Naidenova from the Bulgarian e-commerce Association. Just a sec. So we'll start with her. She's the chairperson of the Bulgarian e-commerce Association. She'll give an overview of the Bulgarian online market and will show us the actual data. Welcome, Jeanette. The scene is yours.
Hello. I'm pleased to be with you online today and have a pleasure to have a presentation named Overview of Bulgarian e-commerce market, statistics and trends. We have around 20 minutes and I hope it would be enough to have a snapshot of the data of Bulgarian market and some trends. I hope you have been in Bulgaria and saw the beautiful Alexander Nevsky Church. And this is my first slide corresponding to Bulgarian online market. We will speak about the business-to-consumer online market. Nevertheless, business-to-business e-commerce market will have bigger growth next 5-10 years, but currently B2C market is our focus today. Let me start with internet penetration because we don't have e-commerce market if we don't have internet, and if we don't have internet consumers, we cannot have online shoppers. So a little bit less than 7 million is the population of Bulgaria. 7.1% have access to the internet. It is around 4.9 million, and 31% of internet users have already shopped in internet. It is around 1,530,021. So there is a positive behavior. There are users who are experienced shoppers already, and there is a trust in online commerce, e-commerce in Bulgaria. Let us see where are shoppers and online shoppers by genders. 22.7% of e-shoppers are women in Bulgaria, and 20.6% are men. Based on place of residence, 24.7% are based in city and 30% in villages. This percent in villages is increasing last couple of years due to internet good connection and internet penetration in small villages in Bulgaria, and it will grow in the next years as well. If we see the regions in Bulgaria, the picture is different year by year, but for 2019, 25.4% from Northwest citizens bought online, and this is the #1 region based on percentage of users who shop online. Southwest, together with Sofia, took the second place, then Northeast, Varna, Southeast, Central, South Center, and the last is North Center region in Bulgaria, based on percentage of internet users who were shoppers in 2019. The data are based on the latest e-commerce passport of Bulgarian E-commerce Association. It is just finished, and the next couple of days it would be for free download on our website. The interesting and probably most searching data are for online categories. Which one is the number one, the number three, how they grow during the years. For 2019, the number one category was clothes and sport goods. It is 76.4% from internet users bought this type of goods, clothes and sports goods. The second one with 35.3% are household goods, furniture, toys, garden. This category was I think on the number of 5th position 2 years ago, and you will see now on the second place. Number 3 for 2019 were services, holiday accommodations, hotel reservations, 20.7%. Then food and groceries, which is one of the fastest growing online categories in Bulgaria. We will see in 2020, probably it would be the number 1 or 2 as a number of growth. It was with 16.9% online category in 2019. Then electronic equipment, including cameras, with 14.9%. Tickets for events, 14.9%. Can you imagine more than 1 million euro were spent for tickets for events online last year. Other travel arrangements, transport tickets, car rental is with 10.2% online category. Then books, magazines, newspapers, including ebooks, with 7.8%. Medicine, of course, without prescription. These are vitamins, immunostimulators, probiotics, and some healthcare products with 5.2%. Telecommunication services, but without bill payments, 4.8%, computer hardware, 3.9%, films and music, 3.7%, e-learning materials, 3.6%, and computer software, including computer and video games, 3.1%. We will see significant change on the rate of online categories in 2020 because during the COVID-19, online categories for services, especially in tourist industry, hotel accommodation, reservation, tickets, car rentals, packages, travel packages, they were more than 80% down during this year, and this will influence at the end of the total growth of e-commerce market, because we consider products, online products and online services, online for business to consumer market. Let's see the location of the sellers. 88.1% are national sellers. It means that Bulgarians bought from Bulgarians online shops. 41.8% of the shoppers bought from sellers from other European countries. 19.1% bought from sellers from the rest of the world, and 1.2% was unknown seller, unknown countries, and this is really very dangerous if the users don't know from whom they buy. The percentage is more than 100 because one online buyer buys from Bulgarian and from international shops during the year. That's why the percentage is more than 100%. Let's see about the volume of business to consumer e-commerce market in million euros. You see the stairs up. For the last 6 years, the growth was between 22 and 35% during the last 5 years. In 2019, the volume of e-commerce business to consumer e-commerce market reached 895 million euros. And for 2020, the forecast is 974 million euros. But this forecast was forecasted in March during COVID. So we expect higher growth than it is published in European e-commerce report, from where the data are shown on the screen. One of the most important parameters for development of e-commerce market, it is eGDP. This is share of e-commerce in gross domestic product. In 2019, it was 1.53%, which is lower than the average European eGDP, which is already around 5% for 2019. But the most developed market, UK, eGDP reached 8% last year. So you will see the possibilities of growth of business to consumer e-commerce market in Bulgaria. This is the growth of the market. For the last 5 years, it was between 21 and 35%. Forecast based on European e-commerce report for 2020 is 9%, but this is due to the fact that online services market had declined more than 80%, and combining both online product sales and online services sales, this is the total growth of percentage. So it means that the growth of online product sales, it would be double-digit growth for 2020. Method of payments. 32% of online shoppers paid by credit and debit cards, 8% by bank and internet payments, and 80% is still cash on delivery. In comparison, last year, payment by credit and debit cards was 15%, bank and internet payments was 5%, and 80% was cash on delivery. But we see the trends of increasing payments by credit and debit cards in 2020 due to COVID-19. And we hope this trend will continue ahead. Average shopper spending in Bulgaria for 2019 was 637 euros per person. In comparison with European spending, it is less. So average European spending is around 2,000 euros per person on a yearly basis. This is average based on the data of e-commerce, European e-commerce report 2020. For the first time, we show top 10 Bulgarian e-shops. These are e-shops who are functioning from Bulgaria, are registered Bulgarian companies. This rank doesn't contain the trans-border, ex-border sales. I mean, companies or shops as Vivre, as Fashion Days, and other players who are quite big are not included because they are not Bulgarian e-shops. These are pure Bulgarian registered companies. Number one is EMAG.bg, followed by Technopolis.bg, Electronic Products, Remixshop.com. This is only sales in Bulgaria. This company operates in 9 markets, including Germany. So in the rate, only sales on Bulgarian market are included. The number 4 is Ozon.bg, then follow followed by Sport Depot BG, Zura.bg, Ardes.bg, EBAC. It is the biggest online supermarket in Bulgaria, followed by IKEA and Decathlon BG. These are top 10 online shops in Bulgaria based on sales for 2019. Let me summarize the changes and trends during COVID-19. Online product categories such as food, health products, products that contribute to work from home as laptops, tablets, screens, cameras, sport at home as fitness equipment for sporting at home, and quarantine products as freezers and other products. They had a sharp increase in sales, and for example, food category had more than 100% growth during COVID. In contrast to these upward online categories, in categories such as fashion, accessories, footwear, travel, and other service-based sectors, sales decreased more than between 40 and 70%. The coronavirus pandemic accelerates the digital transformation for businesses in Bulgaria. There is an increased interest in starting an online business, selling abroad, selling ex-border. E-commerce has become a major channel through which companies keep in touch with their customers. Debit and credit card payments increase significantly. And the important question here is whether these readjustments will remain temporary or whether the change will permanently transform the retail market. We hope so. And with 1.53% GDP for business to consumer in Bulgaria, we see that in comparison with 8% in UK, we see the possibilities of growth of the market and possibilities of potential for e-commerce growth in Bulgarian market, and the signs are very positive. We would like, as a Bulgarian E-commerce Association, thanks our member. These are our members up till now, and as a main purpose of our association, we have number one is policy making, protecting interests of our members, keeping relationship with government institutions who are obliged to develop laws, and we are working together, and of course sharing best practices, sharing knowledge for e-commerce around the market. These are our contacts. If you are interested in concrete answers of your questions or have some requirements, please don't hesitate to contact us. We would be pleased to help and reply to you. And thank you for your attention.
I would like to thank Jeanette Naidenova for the useful information. It was an honor for us to be a part of the webinar. If you want to ask Jeanette something, you can do that in the comment section on Facebook and YouTube, and she'll answer during the Q&A session. Thank you, Jeanette.
Thank you.
Okay, now the next expert is Evgeni Yordanov. Hello. Evgeni Yordanov is digital marketing and business intelligence expert with over 15 years of professional experience. He is also a chief digital officer and partner in the leading e-commerce software company Cloudcart. Hi, Evgeni, and welcome on board.
How are you doing, Larissa? It's nice to see you again.
Nice to see you too. I'm perfectly fine. Yeah. Okay,
Awesome.
I'm starting your presentation.
Sure. Yeah.
Go ahead.
I hope that everybody can see my screen now. It's really nice to be here with you today, and I want to thank first our partners from Vision Academy, who are the guys who are the actual organizers of this conference today, as well as our beautiful host Larissa for hosting this really interesting event, specifically targeted towards Romanian businesses and business owners, of course. In the next few slides, I would like to introduce some ideas and some statistics based on the experience and data which Cloudcart has. But first, let me introduce myself, if you will. My name is Evgeni Yordanov. I'm partner and chief digital officer of Cloudcart, as Larissa said already. I'm a certified professional from the likes of companies like Facebook, Google, Northwestern University, etc. And at the same time, I'm the same way as our colleagues from Serpact. I have won the European Search Awards in 2014, which was quite an achievement, if you will, back in the day. When we go and talk about the history of e-commerce, Jeanette was quite kind to actually share quite the idea and data coming from the Bulgarian E-commerce Association, and I'm thanking her for sharing that data. But I would like to start a little bit backwards with some history, going even further than what she already shared, if you will. On this slide, what you can see is that back in 2009, 2010, there was this trend where e-commerce has surpassed department stores, and what people are making out of e-commerce, if you will, in terms of eGDP, which Jeanette already mentioned. But this here is statistics from the census of the United States and St. Louis Fed in general, which is again putting it up against online versus physical stores, if you will. When it comes to the e-commerce data worldwide, once and again, what I can share is that, as you can see for yourself, we're talking about trillions of dollars here. Back in 2014, we were talking about somewhere close to $1 trillion, and right at the end of 2019, we were already pushing up against $4 trillion worldwide when it comes to e-commerce. And for the most part, as you can see for yourself, China and the US are the leading economies, which are primarily responsible for the driving of e-commerce sales, and they have one of the biggest marketplaces in the world. When we talk about Amazon or eBay or Alibaba and AliExpress, respectively. And in that regard, it makes sense for them to be the leading economies when it comes to e-commerce as well. I will be skipping my data for Europe and going directly to the Bulgarian one, because once and again, our colleagues from Bulgarian E-commerce Association already shared the European levels, if you will. But you're here to hear about and to learn more about the Bulgarian market as a whole. And I'm happy that the Bulgarian E-commerce Association has shared their new data that they just came up with in the new 2020 e-commerce passport. But when it comes to Cloudcart, what I can say is that we are an e-commerce platform which houses thousands upon thousands of different merchants from all different verticals. And we have done a market research where it says that every fourth order online happens in a Cloudcart store, if you will. And based on that data, we can share everything that you can see on the screen for yourself. We can share the data when it comes to what items are being sold online, and as well as what items are being bought online, which are two very different categories, if you will, and if you think about it as well. When it comes to selling online, you can see that the most sold items online are in the fashion and accessories category, as well as some sporting goods with 10%. Then there are the baby and child care, etc., and going further down the line. When it comes to buying items online, it's in the same realm, but there are different percentages in that regard, if you will, and these different percentages are in different ballparks, and there's some places where there's still untapped potential in the market, even though that most online stores are already selling fashion and accessories, if you will. Even that it doesn't matter, because there's even more market appreciation and need for more and more of these types of goods and accessories, of course. And then again, there's just 10% of the stores are selling sports goods, but there's quite a big of a difference, like with 20%, when it comes to the pie chart, 20% of people are actually looking for sports goods. So there's a niche gap over there as well. When it comes to money spent on online purchases in 2019, based on the data from close to 2 million Bulgarian e-shoppers, we have identified that the median, the average in online purchases for the whole year per shopper are around between 100 and 500 Bulgarian levs, which are close to 250 euro for the whole year per one shopper. That's the median value of shopping purchases, if you will, online. Online sales and trading so far have been done through different means, if you will. Some of them are done through marketplaces, some of them are done on social media, some of them are done on ad sites and classified ads sites as well. And the last category where you can actually properly shop online are the own websites, which Jeanette was kind enough to share as well, the top 10 websites where people can purchase things. And yes, the number one was eMag, which is the same one as in Romania, of course, but that constitutes a different category in the realm of marketplaces, if you will. But at the same time, there's also shopping again in Facebook, in Instagram. There's comparison and classified ads websites like OLX and Pazaruvai and Grabo and Broshura, etc. When it comes to the software part, again, as in every country, there's the open source side of things with WordPress, WooCommerce, Magento, OpenCart. There's software as a service, and there's also the custom route, if you will. And Cloudcart is right over here. It's under the software as a service category in software, when you can have your own personal website. But the difference there is that we can talk a little bit more in regards to what Cloudcart can give you. But just to roll back the ball, if you will, just a couple of sentences back, and to talk about the actual problems, because this is what the landscape looks like, if you will. But at the same time, the major pain points for most merchants are one and the same. For the most part, most small and medium-sized businesses lack time and knowledge. They do not understand e-commerce properly, if you will, the correct way. There's too many business tasks that needs to get done on a daily basis, like orders, marketing, client support, etc., which cannot be done effectively by just one person or a couple of people. And for the most part, it's too expensive for small and medium-sized businesses to start selling online. Once and again, because of two previous points, the lack of time and knowledge and too expensive to start, the marketing side of things, which is pretty crucial when it comes to actually selling and being successful online, is failed marketing, meaning that people lacking the understanding of how to do e-commerce, lacking of understanding how to do marketing, and lacking the actual budget to do proper marketing, they fail at that one as well. So these three major pain points have their actual. We at Cloudcart have come up with an actual solution to these types of problems, if you will. And Cloudcart, if I need to put it in a couple of sentences, it's a universal e-commerce platform which is enhanced with different marketing instruments and tools which are driving more sales. That's the whole idea behind Cloudcart as well. Our main focus is to help small and medium-sized businesses to start and develop a successful online business. You get to start for free. You have full marketing integration with thousands upon thousands of different tools. You get the most optimized checkout process on the market. And we're working on some patented AI technologies to help our merchants move forward with all that they want to do in regards to sales. We are being backed by the likes of Google, Facebook, Viber, etc. We're working with the top telecom operators and some of the media companies, and we have some investors in the company who are securing our future into the cross-border sales as well. As Jeanette put it, the cross-border sales is quite an interesting category that is going to be moving forward in the next few months and few years as well. When it comes to e-commerce software and the software as a service side of things, you have seen the role where we talked about Shopify and the likes of them. The truth is that Cloudcart currently is ranked in the top 3 when it comes to the e-commerce software industry. You can take a look at the American news media called Newsweek, where the biggest statistical portal in the world named Statista have ranked the best business tools for 2019, and it has ranked Cloudcart in the top 3 in the e-commerce section in the e-commerce field, right after Shopify and BigCommerce, which pretty much can give you the idea of what Cloudcart has in terms of technology, in terms of scalability, in terms of ease of use, etc. I won't be going through everything in regards to what you can get from Cloudcart, but just to give some perspective as to how many free stuff you get with Cloudcart and no transaction fee and so many other things where you get so much less things in Shopify and our other competitors, if you will. The registration in Cloudcart is really fast. It comes up in 60 seconds or something like that. You get to have a cloud-based online store. You get full marketing tools integrations, the most optimized checkout again on the market itself. And there's a bunch of other stuff when it comes to legal stuff like invoicing and GDPR stuff, etc., etc. You have automated database and transferring from other software into Cloudcart pretty easily with the help of the professional Cloudcart team, as well as you get access to our help center and our customer support team. The tools which you get all the top ERP software, you get all the top couriers and shipping providers, you get access to the top payment providers on the market, and more than 2,000 other first and third party apps from across the world, like for instance the integrations with eMag, meaning that once you have a Cloudcart store under your own brand, under your own domain name, if you will, at the same time, you get to automatically sell in eMag, in Facebook, in Instagram, in Etsy, etc., 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 directly through your Cloudcart store. That's the whole idea of having Cloudcart. Once and again, our focused countries for the next couple of years, because we're expanding our reach. Romania is one of the first countries which Cloudcart is getting into right now. We have more than 2 million actually customer profiles. More than 310 million products have been viewed through our system. More than 3 million orders have been completed, and more than 190 million Bulgarian lev turnover through the stores in Cloudcart itself. I won't go through the history of the company, but I would like to spend a couple of minutes talking about COVID. Yes, COVID changed the game completely, as Jeanette was quite kind to share with us as well. For the most part, most companies have shared the idea that they will be losing customers locally. Most of them as well have shared the idea that they're going to be losing customers internationally. They will be having a lack of liquidity when it comes to their companies and assets liquidation. Their supply chain is going to be broken, etc. And when it comes to the cash on delivery, which is pretty prominent on the Bulgarian market, what I can share from our experience personally is we're seeing similar numbers as the Bulgarian E-commerce Academy has already shared with you, that up until the end of 2019, the e-commerce market, cash on delivery has constituted a market share of around 85%, meaning that pretty much every order happening online in Bulgaria was happening through cash on delivery payments, hand-to-hand exchange of cash, if you will. Which actually changed with COVID. Since COVID in the spring, what we're seeing right now is that cash on delivery has, even in some cases, dropped below the psychological threshold of 50%, which is unheard of. We haven't expected anything like that. We have tried to battle cash on delivery for quite a while now, for the past 5 or 6 years on this market. Unfortunately, the end customer was preferring cash on delivery, but with COVID-19, these things changed, and again, some of the payments on some stores even dropped below the psychological threshold of 50%. And a major winner, as the Bulgarian E-commerce Association shared, has been indeed the card payments part of things and the shift towards using card payments moving forward. The reaction of the biggest players in the world when it comes to COVID, as you've seen yourself, is Google Shopping became free. Google, gave their platform, Google Shopping, for free to be listed on the platform. Facebook Shops is a new technology which actually Facebook introduced during COVID. Unfortunately, it's pretty limited towards our markets, meaning Bulgaria, Romania, etc. Only Western markets, especially US, UK, are available to actually take advantage of these types of technologies. And Amazon froze the pricing on their marketplace in order for them to battle different price, different vultures who are preying on the customers themselves. How did Cloudcart actually respond to the COVID pandemic? We have given Cloudcart for free to start with, and we have helped more than 2,000 different small and medium-sized businesses digitize their business and move from the offline side of things to online, and we have actually saved their businesses. I won't be going over that much detail because there are some videos, unfortunately they are in Bulgarian, of different small and medium-sized businesses which we have saved from the handmade and craft beers and painters and all over the different side of things, not just selling clothing online or selling electronics and these types of goods online as well. We have helped across the board all the different verticals there are. When it comes to whenever you think that you can sell something online, being a physical product, a digital product, or services, you can do that through Cloudcart. And not only that, but you can also sell them through different types of marketplaces and different types of platforms other than just your own personal online store. That's basically what I would have liked to share today with you, and hopefully you will have an idea of actually trying Cloudcart. Once and again, it's free. You can start with just 60 seconds, which is how much the actual registration lasts. or you can just ping me at marketing@cloudcart.com, and we can help you out moving forward and in selling in Bulgaria. Thank you.
Thank you, Evgeni.
Not a problem. Thank you as well.
It was very interesting sharing that information with us and our audience. If you want to ask Evgeni some questions, you can do it in the comment section. Yeah. And in Facebook and YouTube, and we'll discuss them in the Q&A session. Thank you again.
Of course, not a problem.
Just a sec. Okay, moving forward. Дидо, включи ли се? Okay, now we're moving forward. So it's time to welcome on screen Dido Grigorov. He's head of SEO at Serpact, one of the leading SEO agency in Bulgaria, and not only, but the agency who won two global and European search awards. The awards were in 2019 and 2020. Dido Grigorov also was selected to present at Google Dance Conference in Zurich in 2018 with only 4 agencies from Europe. Hi Dido, and welcome.
Hello guys, I'm so happy to be here with you. I'm going to present you today a very interesting presentation. It is entirely covers the importance of the content strategies for online stores, or the so-called, or how important are they in the e-commerce industry. So I'm going to start with my presentation right now. The title is Grain by Grain up to 192% growth revenue through SEO for 5 months. Who are we? So we have over 18 international certificates, over 50 lectures in Bulgaria, over 20 lectures abroad, Over, I would say, 18 years of professional experience, more than 50 articles in Bulgarian and international media websites, 25% investment in training. Yes, we really like to train ourselves to learn new things almost every day. For we in 2018 practiced the only Bulgarian SEO agency with a presentation at an official Google event. We have been approved to participate in the presentations of the official Google Dance event in that year, 2018. The topic of my presentation was 403% more organic traffic for 12 months with the correct website architecture. We also have been accredited by Stone Temple. It's now Proficient Digital and one of the top SEO experts on the Planetary King. We also we have won the European Search Awards in 2019, and in 2020 we are the winners of the Global Search Awards. Part of our clients and portfolio, we have some very big clients in our portfolio list. This is just a small part of them. Today's agenda, we are going to talk about following or analysis of a group of keywords against focus and intent, goal revenue, sowing content strategy in focus keywords, fertilization, content promotion, watering, monitoring, harvest results. Our project is the brand of our project is actually sort of semana.pg, and we've been partnering since the end of 2018. In this project, we work only on goals. We started by defining some business goals, and according to the estimates of time spent to achieve them. So at the end of the 2018, we were asked to migrate the online store, and in early, we did technical migration, and of course with SEO implementation. So no losses will be generated during the migration, besides the usual ones by the algorithms of Google and the expected fluctuations. In early 2019, we implemented it together with the developers of the website. And at the beginning of 2020, new targets were set for 50 specific phrases, assessing value and potential, and with good potential for revenue. What we did was that we separated we made the usual separation of the phrases in three types: brand-related phrases, informational phrases, and transactional phrases. Maybe you think that ranking a website for brand phrases is a pretty easy task, but actually it is not true, even today in the world of the semantic search, because especially if you have a competitor with a very close name to the name of your client's brand, it will be a really challenging task. The next type of phrases were the informational phrases. So we built a semantic model around the main transactional phrases in order to cover to expand the destination documents relative to the user intent. The transactional phrases are actually phrases that are usually very they're the main phrases, and the focus was our focus targeting phrases for an online store. But we explore the potential of each of them, and the assessment of the possibility of a transaction is determined consciously with the client. So we usually keep the user intent. You always keep the user intent on our mind, despite the fact, and nevertheless we work with informational phrases or transactional phrases. We usually keep the user intent in our mind. And of course, one of the interesting things here was that we built the semantic course of the informational phrases around the transactional phrases. This is the semantic keywords research timeline we usually follow in our company. It is a kind of template presenting what I'm presenting right now, because the processes here, there are 12, but the processes here are usually customized for every client. So if somebody wants to ask me or makes a decision to ask me, is it possible to use this for my project? We would say no, because we don't know anything about your project. We don't know anything about your brand or niche. So we usually start with a questionnaire and content discussion. We call it content brief. We will try to find the best keywords, but when it comes to the context around them, and of course the user intent, and also we will base it on the competition analysis, just to have a look on what the competitors are doing in the niche. Are there any specific phrases we will miss during the seed keywording process or brainstorming of keywords? Then we will do the keyword extraction. We will have a look on the SERP. It's a very important thing today, because as many of our colleagues would say, everything happens on the SERP day. We will retrieve questions. This is really, really important, and this is where these kind of educational phrases, informational phrases are coming. Of course, they're mixed with questions and any specific phrases we can use to target with blog posts, specific resource articles, and so on. We will use the semantic phrases. They are a specific type of phrases, not the regular ones you see on the keyword tools, but there are different kind of phrases coming from the so-called language models of the search engines. Because every search engine will form a language model around a specific phrase. And these language models are constantly updated. These phrases are coming usually from the people and their websites, respectively, and of course what they are writing into the field, the search field of the search engine. We will organize and group the keywords around the user intent, around the goals we are after, and the goals we have defined with the business, or in other words, the business goals. And of course, it maybe here sometimes will come up a very specific intent that is, or intent or a goal that is totally customized to the business and the brand. That's why following this process is something that is kind of not possible for every type of businesses. Every type of business around the world. Then we will make the mapping, and then follows the full strategy. And when you see the strategy, you can have better idea what kind of content we will create, what type of content we will create, how we will create it, what will be included into this and into a particular piece of content. Also. What kind of questions we will put into the content, what kind of answers the user will receive, what are the goals behind these pieces of content, and the expected results. Of course, we will have a blog calendar. It is part of the strategy, and a very fundamental thing when it comes to providing the right answer to the user and the different types of buyer personas. Also in the strategy, you will see the different types of buyer personas and how we map these different types of content to the different types of buyer personas. That's why spending some time to analyze the buyer persona, the ideal buyers of your online store, is a fundamental thing. This is how the transactional phrases will go like here in Bulgaria. It's everything related to the to the expectations and what the user would like to see here in our country. That's why they're in Bulgarian. Now, as you can see, we have a very good amount of searches per month. This is about the brand phrases. That's why we had a very big challenge on our roads because we were after ranking this ranking the client for its brand name. But actually, this keyword here in Bulgaria is actually the brand name of our client is actually also a keyword here in Bulgaria. And also we had some competitors with very similar names, brand names I mean, and that actually made the task really challenging. We have the transactional phrases here, some specific phrases, they are already mapped here, and we have some information like the searches per month. We use the cost per click and how difficult the keyword is for ranking, the organic results, the relevant results, of course, types of results we would get, despite the fact maybe you might not see any specific specific types of results here on Google. They will come up at any moment. It entirely depends on the algorithms of Google, of course. Our content strategy is entirely based on target phrases, and the buyer persona is what is important for us, because we usually ask ourselves who asks, when asks, and how we can help. This is what is important. We would like to be useful. We would like to follow the user behavior, and we did it. And of course, we fully respected the buyer persona profiles. In our situation, this is a confidential information, but the buyer persona profiles were several different each other. But they are already, we can already see them in chart because they're actually buying from the online store almost every day. The content strategy based on a target phrase, this is how it looks like with 3 different types of documents. We have also realized so many different blog posts answering actually a lot of questions here and getting a lot of comments by potential clients. Some comments were sent over email, some of them were published on the website, and so on. But actually, yes, one of the most interesting signals you will see, and will give you the right. It will be important for you to see as a very good signal is that your content is good is if you have comments below the blog posts you publish on your website. In your situation, the online store. The content promotion is the next thing you will see on the content strategy, and of course we also did it as a second as a separate section on the content strategy for this client. Answering of the questions why, how, and where. Why? What are the reasons, for example, to promote that content on this media website? Do we really know how to do it? Or in other words, you know that every website has its own editorial guidelines. So do we cover them and how well we write for this website? Maybe we're good at writing. We have some perfect writing skills, but they are not the right ones for this website. So maybe we will find a person to hire to write a specific piece of content for that particular website, and so on. And where, and it depends on the budget. Why it depends on the budget? Because as we know, some websites are really expensive, and sometimes some businesses, especially the startups, they cannot afford it at any time. So at a specific time, so we will be so they maybe sometime will pass into the future when they will be able to afford a specific media. But yes, a plan is really important, and please have your content promotion documented, include it into your actionable plan, and even make your content promotion plan as an actionable plan, and group this media around your business current situation, financial situation, business, your financial situation, your business situation, and also around the group this around around your goals, and around the timing, around when you want to achieve something aligned with a specific goal. So goals in the form of reasons, how, and where. This is what is important, and this is how a strategy and document strategy works like here in our country and for our client. This is what happened after we started promoting the content. As you can see, the curve of the referring domains started gradually growing up. it has been still growing up. The referring page, it is the almost the same situation with the referring pages. It is absolutely normal to be that way because usually pages are what where the web links are coming from. The campaign and the overall budget is about 2,500 Bulgarian leva. And we promoted the content on very carefully selected and specific but popular media websites, very popular and widely used and read media websites here in Bulgaria. When we monitored the results, what we have seen was that we crossed over 1 million of clicks in about 1 year, and more than actually almost 7 millions of impressions with 15% of CTR, which is an amazing result for a good content strategy and a good SEO optimization. And of course, the average position of almost all keywords covered with the project is about 6. You can see here the differences. Despite the fact it's in Bulgarian language, the clicks were almost a year ago. The clicks were almost 2,000. Now they are almost 8,000, and the impressions are almost 4 times more compared to and also if we compare the CTR, you will see that we higher it up with 7%. Or in other words, what we achieved was 356% more clicks, 168% more impressions, 63% of more CTR. You can see here the rankings. What we achieved also was 18% more visibility as a result of 57% visibility in the whole niche with the proper content strategy. You can see that we achieved also 153% more transactions, and of course 185% of more revenue. We have a testimonial by the CEO of the company, and if we summarize step by step what is important for achieving these results is analysis, strategy, promotion, monitoring, and results, and then get back and start again. So it's kind of a never-ending cycle. Let's talk a little bit about the budget. About 5 months of real work, or 75 hours, 750 euro monthly. If you would like to calculate it monthly, and 205,000 revenue growth compared to 2018. Or if we would like to separate into different items the budgets, you will see that 500 level for keyword research, 2,500 for content strategy, 1,500 for content promotion and strategy, 2,500 for content promotion but for media websites, and only 500 for monitoring. The team behind the project, it's Nicola Minkov, the CEO and the project strategy. It's me, the head of SEO and the content strategy, in the form of 20 hours and 25 for Nicola. Boris Fafaratu, the SEO strategist, off-page, and he prepared the off-page strategy. It's to him 15 hours. Hristo Petrov, head of off-page media relationship, 10 hours. Konstantin Kordaliev, project manager communication, in 5 hours. So thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Dido. Now we are going to go for the next experts. Thank you for sharing that information and for the participation. Now we are moving forward. Hello, I'm saying hello to Hristo Petrov.
Hello, partners. Did you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you perfectly. He's from Golden Vision Accounting. His company specializes in taxation services, and his team is proud that none of their clients has ever been fined by the National Revenue Agency in Bulgaria. Hi, Hristo, and welcome. The scene is yours.
Okay, I will try to share my screen. I suppose you see my presentation.
Yes, we do.
Larissa, did you see my presentation?
Yeah, do you hear me? Yeah, okay,
partners.
cool.
Okay, partners, we will see some details about taxation in Bulgaria concerning online sales. I have different participations in TVs, magazines, seminars in
Just a
Bulgaria
second.
and worldwide.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Can you pull it in the full screen?
Oh yes, just a second.
Thank you.
Okay, partners. The topics today will be the following. The first one will be company registration. We will see when you need to come in Bulgaria. We will say details about taxes, invoices, VAT, receipt, payments with debit and credit cards, some words about social security payments, customs, and we will finish with mistakes and recommendations. After that, there is questions and answers panel. About company registration, due to European anti-money laundering regulations, the company registration in Bulgaria takes a little bit longer than previous times. You can buy a registered company, which is quicker, and there is no need to come to Bulgaria. We offer this service. It is best for the company to be at the address of accounting company or a lawyer, because sometimes there is some letters from Bulgarian administration, and it's a good idea to go to your accounting company or to your lawyer. When you need to come to Bulgaria, you need to be present only in order to open a bank account in Bulgaria. If you travel by plane, our office in Sofia is relatively close to the airport. Everything in Bulgaria can be done in about 2 or 3 hours, and you can return to your country on the same day. There is one important note. You need to send information and a passport in advance so that contracts, power of attorney, and other documents can be prepared in advance. And when you come to Bulgaria, you can sign all these documents at once. Some information will be useful for entrepreneurs from Romania. If you can visit Ruse, in most cases this is nearest town to the eastern Romania. For your information, the trip from Bucharest to Ruse is about 1 hour, 1 hour and a half by car. We have partner in Russia who speaks Romanian. Usually everything can be done within 2 or 3 hours, so you will be able to return to your country at the same day. You can visit Vidin if you are from Western Romania. For entrepreneurs from another countries, you can visit Bulgaria, Bulgaria's closest town to you, if there are no flights to Sofia. If you come from countries west of Bulgaria, in most cases it is convenient to travel to Sofia. If you come from countries south of Bulgaria, it is most convenient to travel to Sandansky or Haskovo in Bulgaria. Some words about taxes in Bulgaria. The annual statement shall be prepared for the entire 2020 until 31st March of the next year. The profit tax in Bulgaria is very little, very good. It's only 10%. For small businesses, the payment of this tax for the entire 2020 shall be made until 31st March of the next year. Usually, all administrative tasks can be performed by accountant and by lawyer authorized with the power of attorney. Your presence in Bulgaria will be required on very few occasions. Value-added tax. Some details about VAT. At first, you can sell in Bulgaria without VAT registration. For example, if you haven't reached the turnover for VAT registration in your country. If you have VAT registration in your country, you charge the same VAT as in your country sales until you reach the threshold of 70,000 level. It's approximately 35,800 euro. There is one important difference if you have a warehouse in Bulgaria. If you have a warehouse or if you use fulfillment services, you need to have VAT registration in Bulgaria before being able to sell. This is only when you use warehouse or fulfillment in Bulgaria. If you have a warehouse or fulfillment, for example, in Romania, and you sell in Bulgaria, in this case, you do not need VAT registration from the beginning. The VAT registration takes much less time, and it's easier if you have a Bulgarian company and you authorize an accounting company for the VAT registration. If you need VAT registration, it takes longer for your non-Bulgarian company to be VAT registered in Bulgaria. For most goods and services, the VAT in Bulgaria rate is 20%. There are only a few with lower or with no VAT rate. There is some goods with 9% VAT. These goods are books, including e-books, baby food, baby diapers. There is 9% VAT on tourist services too, but in some of tourist services is this lower VAT. VAT is declared to the tax authorities and shall be paid until 14th of the following months. This is one difference between Bulgaria and Romania, for example. We will say some details about invoices and information in the event of purchase. In Bulgaria, there is no need to issue invoices to individuals. This is some difference between Bulgaria and Romania, for example. You are obliged to issue invoices only to companies. When sending goods to customers, usually customers need to receive information such as what they have purchased, from which company, and what price and the VAT for the purchase, if there is VAT in selling. Some details about receipts. The payment method determines whether a receipt should be issued or not. If the company ship products by cash on delivery, you need a postal money order contract with the courier company, so the issuance of a receipt would not be required. In this case, the courier company issues a document similar to a receipt to your customer. We recommend to having an employee or authorized person in Bulgaria to deal with shipments being sent and to receive any returned goods. In Bulgaria, about 60% of customers choose cash on delivery. You saw these details in presentation of Jeanette. This is preferred payment option in Bulgaria and in Romania too. Before the COVID pandemic, this percentage was higher. For most popular courier companies with the most branches are Cont and Speedy in Bulgaria. The prices of Speedy are a little lower, but sometimes the company may delay a little bit your delivery. We will say some details about debit and credit card payments. Typically in Bulgaria, if your clients use debit and credit cards for online payment, there is need to give to your clients receipts. The type of payment does not require the issuance of a receipt if the accounting company declares before the tax authorities the values of your sales. We recommend that your site has the option of generating statements in XML or CSV format. About 30% of online customers in Bulgaria preferred card payments. When the VAT registration is required if you work with your own Bulgarian company. The first, when your sales in Bulgaria for last 1 year exceeded 50,000 leva. This is approximately 25,565 euro. This is approximately value. If you import over than 200 Bulgarian leva, it's approximately 10,000 euro. When you are receiving from or producing services to your European Union corporate customers, there is need to be VAT registered too. The paid software versions of sending emails such as MailChimp, MailerLite, SendGrid, GetResponse, and other other paid software, they need VAT registration too. If you use foreign free services, you do not need VAT registration. We will say some frequently used paid services that require VAT registration if you work with a Bulgarian company. These options are if you use Facebook, if you use Instagram, LinkedIn, if you use Google for your business, and if you send money to Google or received money from Google. If you use hosting, VPS, SSL certificates from a company outside of territory of Bulgaria. If you use cloud services from a company outside Bulgaria, you need VAT registration too. If you use some platforms like Shopify, Weebly, Magento, if you use Joomla, OpenCart, PrestaShop, WordPress, or if you use images, themes, plugins, and other payment to this type of platforms, you need VAT registration too. And some important note: you need VAT registration before sending or receiving amounts for these services abroad. This is important to have VAT registration before you send money to these platforms or before receive money from them. I will say you some information about social security payments in Bulgaria. Since the beginning of its activity, the company owes social security payments. If you have a Bulgarian company at which you, as an individual, are an owner and a manager of your company, you must pay 170 Bulgarian leva social security payments. If the Bulgarian company you register is owned by another company, you will need to pay approximately 400 Bulgarian leva. This is approximately 200 euro. If your tax authority can issue Form A for you, you do not owe to pay any social security payments in Bulgaria. If you work with company from your country, the situation is a little bit complicated, and the tax authorities interpret differently what social security payments you owe, if any. We will say some details about legislation. All online stores that require the issuance of a receipt need to register at the site of Bulgarian National Revenue Agency before starting their activity. The above also applies if you accept payments with credit or debit cards with virtual POS terminal on your website. If After the initial registration in the National Revenue Agency, you also decide to sell other goods. They need to be included in the information already submitted to the administration. The shop is considered as an online shop if there is a card or another method to make an order, such as via catalog, telephone call, messaging services, email, or other methods. This is Bulgarian postal money order issued by courier company instead of receipt. This is a good idea if you don't want to send the receipt to your client, to use this type of this service. Its name is post money order, but it can be used from almost all courier companies in Bulgaria. We will say some details about customs. We need customs when importing or exporting goods outside European Union. When importing from a non-European Union country, there are import duties. The purpose of these duties is stimulating the domestic production or the import from other countries in European Union. For individuals, the purchase up to 30 Bulgarian leva, there is no duty, no duty payable. This is approximately about 15 euro. For companies, it's the same. Or if you import some samples, no duty is payable again. The duty amount is determined by the country where the goods come from, the type of goods, and its composites. The tariff codes, which are one and the same for all European Union, including Bulgaria, are to be observed. We will say some details about custom tariffs. There are no import duty for some goods, such as notebooks, mobile phones, medical equipment, when they are being imported to Bulgaria. However, usually VAT is due. There are treaties with some countries to avoid duty for certain goods. For example, the import of school desks from Turkey. With some countries, there are treaties for lower or no duty. For example, Korea, Moldova, and other countries. We will say some recommendations to you. It is recommended for the tariff code of the goods to be included in invoices. When exporting to some countries, if you have the Euro 1 form, you will get lower import duties in some countries such as Serbia, Republic of South Africa, and other countries. If you are purchasing from a Bulgarian manufacturer with the purpose of export outside European Union, ask the manufacturer for a Form A certificate. when exporting goods, the Bulgarian customs require an invoice for the purchase. We recommend to use custom agency. If you want, we can refer you custom agency. We will say the most frequent mistakes in online commerce. There is no label in Bulgarian language on the product or leaflet in the package. Sometimes not all of the necessary information is present on the site. The main information is the following: the name of the trading company, the address of the company, Bullstat. This is the ID number of your company, contact telephone or email, terms and conditions that include the rights and the obligations of the buyer and the seller, personal data protection policy, cookie policy, and sometimes a link to the European online dispute resolution platform. Sometimes it is not monitored whether the turnover of 50,000 Bulgarian leva exceed. It is approximately 25,000 euro. No receipts are issued for some types of payment that require it. You will receive one bonus for all participants, a free short consultation from Golden Vision accounting company. The information is current as of October 2020. And now it's time for questions, but before that, you can see details what was the best sellers online in the time of pandemic on first wave in Bulgaria on April 2020. I suppose this information will be useful for you. This was the most sellers online in Bulgaria in April. And it's time for questions and answers, and we can answer your questions. We offer complex business services like consultations, company registration, and accounting services. These are my contact. So you can write me for the way you choose, by mail, on Viber, Facebook, or other messaging services.
Okay, thank you, Hristo. And thank you for the useful information. Now, we are going to move forward to the next section, the Q&A section, just in a minute. Okay, now I am going to invite again our experts, and Dido. How are you guys?
Doing good, thank you.
Yeah, are we hearing everybody?
Yes.
Okay.
I hope so.
Yeah, cool. Now the first question is for Jeanette and Evgeni. What product niches are not so competitive and will be good to offer in Bulgarian markets? Where are you seeing the potential?
Ladies
I'm muting
first.
myself. Yeah.
Ladies first. Jeanette, you can start if you want.
I think that every online category has a possibility to growth, because as online consumer penetration, we are very low. Only 31% of internet users are buying online. So this is the number one. Second, niches which grow faster than the rest are, let's say, FMCG sector. This is the number one which we expect to grow. This sector is growing worldwide faster, and Bulgaria is a couple of years ago, but behind the world trends. But we expect a huge growth here. Also, let's say products for garden, for home, of course, baby products, health products. We need to focus on health products because now it's a critical product category during COVID. So we think new niches will come because till this moment behavior was different than now during COVID. So I think that there is a potential for everyone online product group, but this which I mentioned are with the huge possibilities to see in the next years. Evgeni, you can add something?
Of course. Thank you, Jeanette, for your input and your expertise into the whole market, which you're giving us with the Bulgarian E-commerce Association. It's always a pleasure to be among you guys. Thank you again for including us today. I want to go back to my presentation from earlier when I talked about the different percentages that, there are different types of items that are being sold online. And from that regard, I want to continue Jeanette's thought, actually, in regards to products which are specifically targeted towards COVID time consumption, if you will, which in that regard are, for instance, products in the category, for instance, of home entertainment, as well as home sporting goods that you can perform from home, if you will, at the same time, as well as the category of books and hobby items. Specifically, even for Bulgaria, there are too little number of stores who are targeting these types of categories, if you will. Yes, one of the biggest ones, as Jeanette put it, Ozon.bg, are targeting books and other stuff as well, like gaming, etc. But there's not that many other stores that are targeting this niche. And even though Ozon is a pretty big one, this does not mean that there's no market for other players on the market, for smaller players, more niche players in specific category, because Ozon are going more after the approach and the idea of how Amazon are doing their business. They're this marketplace which is selling pretty much everything under the sun, if you will. With Amazon, Ozon are moving in the same manner. They started like an online store for books, if like Amazon did back in the day, and they're moving towards more and more categories that are involving in selling in Ozon BG. But at the same time, I believe that these are types of categories which are prominent and can be actually utilized into selling more things to Bulgarian consumers as well. And this also ties in as a final point. This also ties into the spending habits of Bulgarian consumers, because as I alluded to with my presentation, as you've seen yourself, the median spend by a Bulgarian e-shopper is between 100 and 500 Bulgarian levs, which is between 50 to 250 euro for the whole year. And usually there's these small types of items, again, like books, like personal sporting equipment, like hobby equipment, etc., like handmade stuff, if you will, or handmade and handcrafting materials and accessories, etc., which coincide and get into that span of consumer spending, if you will. So I believe that these are the approaches and categories that you should be going after.
Thank you, both of you, for the valuable information. I'm moving to the next question, which is addressed to Dido. How long does it usually take for a content strategy to influence the project results?
Oh, a very good question. Actually, it really depends on the niche. This is what is important, and how competitive are the keywords, and also how active are the competitors. In other words, there is an approximate period of time for getting some really good results of 6 to 8 months. But I mean some significant results. I would not expect something really good to see on analytics or any other web analytics platform before this period of time. If everything is well developed in the strategizing process and so on.
Yeah, thank you. Next question is addressed to Hristo. What you will recommend to us for any shop owners to work with our company from abroad or to open a Bulgarian company? Which are the main advantages and disadvantages?
I recommend for the beginning to start with your company in your country, and if you reach the threshold for VAT registration in Bulgaria, to start with Bulgarian company, because it is more easier to do VAT registration of a Bulgarian company than Romanian or Hungarian company, and there is some another pluses to use Bulgarian company after you are VAT registered as Bulgarian VAT company.
Okay, thank you. The next question is again to Dido. How do you believe SEO will change in the future in the context of Google BERT and NLP?
Google BERT, yeah. So we are constantly going to the voice search. We can see this when it comes to the developments of the search engine, especially Google. But we have been going to that point, and I think that the user intent right now is important, but it will become even more important, and more and more and more. So one day everything will be focused entirely around the user. Yes, we still think about ranking signals and so on. They will still continue to be here, but the user will be the main ranking factor.
Okay, thank you. The next question is for all of us, and it is, do you have any information about the potential of the baby products niche? I think ladies first again.
Okay. It's a psychological factor. Babies have always priorities. So product niche for baby goods will be always important for the buyers because we can, for example, we cannot offer for us, but we will find a way to offer to buy something for babies. Of course, there are new regulations here concerning selling baby food, which is now forbidden online. there would be new regulations concerning food in general, selling foods online in Bulgaria. But for, let's say, babies' cosmetics, babies' shoes, baby clothes, there is no restriction. So having in mind that only 31% are buying online, still in Bulgaria, this percentage will grow. Secondly, internet penetration is growing and is covering small villages, and we see more and more shoppers, online buyers, mainly mothers, buying from, let's say, in the middle of nowhere in the forest in Bulgaria. So there is only one possibility to buy, to have a bigger choice and to buy something nice at the best price online for babies. So basically for me, there is a huge potential for this product group.
Awesome insights from Jeanette as well, as usual. My thoughts are exactly the same. It's a big category. Don't get me wrong. We actually, some of our customers, because we have thousands upon thousands of merchants selling with Cloudcart. Some of them, the biggest ones on the market, like Vis Vitalis, are using Cloudcart to sell online. It's one of the biggest, if not the biggest, baby store in Bulgaria. You can check it out, visvitalis.bg. But basically, there's still place on the market for new players, just because, once and again, talking about COVID, when we talk about baby products, they're not enough. As you've heard from my background, I have a couple of babies in my home as well. In times of COVID, you cannot go to your nearest store to get your Pampers or other stuff like that from the store. So you need to get it from somewhere online. And in case you have some specific, let's say, ideas and specific discounts and services that you offer, like baby consultations or free delivery, etc., something specific towards your store, you can leverage that to actually sell more online, no matter the category. In this regard, right now, when we talk about baby products, yes, parents are constantly looking for new things to help with their babies, not only Pampers but also baby clothing, like baby toys, different swings and other stuff to keep babies busy in these times that we are closed and working from home. So these types of categories like baby toys and kids toys are perhaps an interesting market niche to get into, if you will. Larissa, you can continue if you
Okay,
want.
yeah. Okay, thank you. The next question, I think, is for Hristo. Just a sec. Here. Do you offer VIT registrations and monthly services in Bulgaria?
Yes, this is our main activity. We offer accounting services, including VAT registration and sending VAT declarations to Bulgarian administration.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Because we have too many questions, but we don't have time for all of them. Our experts will answer them via email or just in the comments. And everyone who asked a question and didn't get his answer will receive one. Also, if you guys want to receive the presentations, you can just ask for them on the email and you'll receive them on the email. And also that the video here and in Facebook will stay if you want to rewind something or see something or check anything you want. I would like to thank to our great experts and to to thank them from our audience for sharing their insights and for sharing their knowledge with us. Also, I would like to thank our audience and for being here and for the great questions. We hope you have a lot of useful information and hope that your transition into the Bulgarian market will be absolutely smooth. Also, if you need any professional advice or service, our experts at your disposal. And special thanks to our platinum sponsor, Cloudcart. Follow our YouTube channel and our Facebook page, and see you next time.
It was nice.